The courtroom is quiet, except for the rustle of paper on the highly polished oak table. Kody Brown, the former self-assured patriarch of TLC's Sister Wives, glares down at a piece of paper stamped with words he never imagined would mark his own legacy. Financial misconduct. The flash of cameras outside the courthouse windows hits his face like lightning. Robyn clutches her handbag, her knuckles pale. Christine sits behind her lawyer, calm, almost cold, the kind of silence that speaks louder than any scream. Janelle avoids eye contact, while Meri's expression is unreadable, as if she's watching justice finally arrive after years of quiet betrayal. The judge clears his throat. Mr. Brown, do you comprehend the seriousness of these allegations? Kody's voice shakes just enough to reveal his self-assurance. Your Honor, it's a misunderstanding. My family, they know the truth. But as the folder opens and the top page is turned, the truth unravels, line by line, signature by signature. A trail that leads to something more sinister than anyone had anticipated. Dude, the preacher of a past era now stands on trial for deception. And in that instant, the world observing sees this is not another Sister Wives saga. This is Kody Brown's reckoning. If the individual you once most trusted stood before you in court, would you forgive them or finally speak the truth? Let me know in the comments below before we jump into this tempest. The gavel comes down. The reverberation off the frigid marble walls rings through the courtroom like a warning signal. Kody sits stiff, his confidence substituted with the anxious cadence of his fingers, tapping the wooden tabletop. For viewers who once saw him grin in family sit-downs, this is surreal. The crash of a man who built his kingdom on control, charm, conviction. The clerk starts reading. Case number Artersuth CV Echen Ebite Basher T. Plaintiff, Christine Brown. Defendant, Kody Brown. Christine's name is heavier than the actual words. Her voice had been silenced for years, her sorrow locked safely behind courteous smiles and Sunday lunches. But now, with each word spoken, she's taking back her voice. Her attorney, a calm woman in a navy suit, stands. Your Honor, we plan to show evidence of hidden income, misrepresentation of marital assets, and coercive control masquerading as spiritual guidance. There is a murmur of outrage through the courthouse. Kody's eyes dart over to Robyn, his final wife standing, whose lips quiver as she struggles to produce a faint, obedient smile. But it doesn't come close to reaching her eyes. Kody clears his throat. This is not about money. This is about bitterness. His voice breaks just enough to sound like he's practiced. Christine doesn't answer. She doesn't have to. Her silence is louder than his justifications. At times, silence doesn't equal peace. It equals preparation. Janelle, who is in the second row, appears conflicted. She used to be the voice of reason, the mediator between madness and serenity. But even mediators fall under excessive pressure. She recalls late-night phone calls, hushed apologies, and the perpetual tug-of-war between love and pride. Meri, meanwhile, sits with eyes frozen ahead of her, glassy. She's aware this courtroom is not about Kody and Christine alone. It's about all the betrayals that got pushed under the carpet, all the times she was instructed to shut up for the family's sake. The judge nods. Proceed. Christine's attorney approaches and sets a pile of documents on the desk. The paper at the top says, Financial Disclosure, Brown Family Holdings. Within those documents are years of transactions, properties purchased and sold in shell names, joint accounts slowly depleted, and a cryptic transfer described as private asset consolidation. With the same week, Christine sought to separate. Robyn shifts in her seat, her pulse racing. She recognizes that date. It was the week she and Kody signed for their new home. The one he promised was a fresh start. Kody's jaw tightened. His lawyer leans in, whispering, We need to discredit her emotional narrative. Stick to the fact. But the facts are what's killing him. The same man who professed to rule his family with love, is now trapped by the truth he attempted to conceal. The courtroom seems smaller now, tighter, smothering. Each cough, each pen click, resounds like judgment. Christine's attorney goes on. Your Honor, we'll demonstrate these accounts were structured on purpose to leave Miss S. Brown and other family members out of their fair share of the assets accumulated during their shared family years. This is not a matter of error. This is a matter of concealment. Kody gives a slow headshake, his voice little more than a whisper. You're turning faith into fraud. But as the papers are handed over to the judge, Christine says it at last, softly but firmly. Faith doesn't hide bank statements. Kody, gas waves ripple through the room, and in an instant, the atmosphere changes. The dynamics alter. Christine's calmness isn't revenge. It's relief. For the first time in years, she's not the one explaining herself. She's not the one apologizing for asking too many questions. She's standing in the light, while Kody scrambles in the shadow of his own creation. The judge looks over the papers, his expression unreadable. These documents suggest a pattern, Mr. Brown. We'll need clarification on these transfers before proceeding. Kody swallows. His attorney nods, speaking in a hushed tone again, but Kody's attention wanders. He thinks of his life as a highlight reel, the television cameras, the dinners with family, the manufactured image of togetherness, all now disintegrating in fluorescent courtroom lighting. A.R.A. He looks at Robyn once more. She will not meet his gaze. For the first time, even she is not certain if he is the man she believed him to be. Meri dabs at a tear covertly. She speaks softly to Janelle. Perhaps this is what it takes for truth to reside here. Finally, Janelle nods. Though her own heart hurts, she knows that the foundation of this family wasn't based on truth. It was based on appearances, and appearances do not last eternally. The clock in the courtroom ticks, loud, almost taunting. Kody adjusts his tie, his tone now low but defiant. You think this will destroy me? You're wrong. Families fall apart when people stop believing in forgiveness. Christine exhales sharply. Forgiveness isn't the same as forgetting. The judge raises a hand. Enough. We'll recess for 1 hour. The gavel slams again, ending the first round of revelations, but leaving a storm of questions in its wake. As all stand, Christine closes her folder. She does not glance back. Janelle's eyes are on her, half admiration, half terror. Robyn clutches Kody's arm, but his hold is lax. Outside the courtroom, the reporters wait already. Flashing lights, yelled questions, chaos. Kody zips up his jacket and moves forward, each step weighed down by the knowledge that the man the world once praised, as a family leader, could soon be remembered for something other than that. Sometimes the truth doesn't kill you all at once. It unwinds you, thread by thread, until you don't even know who you were faking to be. The courtroom comes to life after lunch, but the atmosphere is thicker now, thick with gossip, half-truths, and the buzz of interest. Every inch is filled with reporters, tapping pens like restless hearts. The judge walks in, fiddling with his glasses, his voice a little more crisp. Now, let's get going, he says, looking around the packed room. Kody takes a seat, his complexion wan under the cold glow of the fluorescent lights. He's had 1,000 words flowing through his mind, but nothing seems suitable. For the first time ever, he appears less the self-assured man of Sister Wives and more like a man struggling to recall who he is when the cameras aren't on. Christine, calm but resolute, keeps her hands folded on the table. Her lawyer stands. Your Honor, with your permission, we'd like to call our first witness, Mrs. Janelle Brown. The crowd murmurs. Kody's eyes widen slightly. Janelle? He mutters under his breath. Janelle rises slowly, smoothing her jacket. She moves cautiously. She looks once at Kody, not with loathing, but with a profound kind of sadness that occurs only from being let down far too many times. The lawyer starts. Mrs. Brown, can you explain to the court what you learned in the shared financial accounts? Janelle clears her throat. Yes, I discovered withdrawals on our shared account, dollars I didn't approve. They were categorized under family projects, but I didn't see any projects. The dollars vanished. Kody folds forward. That is not true, you knew. The judge interjects. Mr. Brown, you'll have your chance. Janelle glances down, then up again, her voice cracking. I wanted to trust him. Each time I questioned, he'd tell me, it's for the family, Janelle. You'll see later. But later never happened. Sometimes loyalty blinds you longer than deceit ever could. The attorney presses on. Did you ever call him on it? Yes. He told me I was being dramatic, that if I trusted him, I wouldn't question things, so I didn't question. But then, Christine presented me with the documents. Christine's eyes lock into hers. A silent thank you is exchanged between them. Years of unspoken sisterhood now becoming solidarity. Kody takes in a sharp breath. His lawyer is taking notes, mouthing something, but Kody brushes him off. No, he says out loud, I'll take care of this. He stands up suddenly, his voice echoing across the room. You all think you know what's going on. You don't. I held this family together for decades. I provided for everyone. You think those houses, those cars, that show, it all came from love? No, it came from work. My work. His tone rises, cracking with emotion. The audience leans in. Cameras click. Christine doesn't move, she just watches. The judge bangs the gavel once. Mr. Brown, please sit down, but Kody doesn't. He is flushed, his voice shaking. You all wanted to be independent, but then it came, and you blamed me for it. You left, you griped, and then when I tried to create something better, Christine interrupts gently. You created something for yourself, Kody. You just didn't include us in it. The heavy silence that follows, the sort that doesn't require explanation. Each secret will ultimately find itself out of places to hide. The judge exhales. Mr. Brown, stay seated. Counsel, continue. Christine's attorney puts a fresh folder onto the desk. Your Honor, this is a transcript of an email chain between Mr. Brown and his business advisor, dated March 6th, the day he submitted new property documents under a private LLC. It contains the sentence, you be sure the transfer occurs discreetly. Christine and Janelle believe this is for family growth. Gasps ripple across the courtroom. Robyn covers her mouth, whispering, Kody, say that's not true. Kody's attorney seizes the paper, flipping through. Your Honor, we object to the context of this email. It's been misread, but the judge holds up a hand. I'll decide interpretation after review of evidence. Kody finally takes a seat, his bravado fragmenting. His fingers tap anxiously on the table, but his thoughts are elsewhere, racing through pictures of the women who once believed him, loved him, constructed a life with him. His gaze falls on Robyn. Her eyes are tearful, but her face is distant. Now, Meri moves in her seat. She's witnessed enough to realize this is more than just about money. It's about power, image, and the man behind the charm. Christine half turns away from the audience, voice firm but emotional. I didn't bring this case on behalf of anger. I brought it because truth deserves a shot of oxygen. We've all spent too long pretending everything was okay for the cameras. It wasn't. For an instant, even the judge appears touched. It's not lies that destroy a family. It's what happens after. The attorney presses on. Miss Brown, can you affirm that the money in question was utilized for personal investment, including a property held only in Mr. Brown's name? Christine assents. Yes, the family cabin wasn't for the family. It was his alone. Kody tightens his fists, his knuckles paling. You're distorting everything I did. That cabin was meant to be a legacy for all of us. Christine's response is quiet, but biting. A secrecy-based legacy doesn't endure, Kody. The judge reaches forward. I've heard enough today. Tomorrow, we'll proceed with financial testimony and expert examination. He bangs the gavel. Harsh. Definitive. As the court is adjourned, Kody remains seated. Robyn lays a light hand on his shoulder, but he does not react. His eyes are vacant, between denial and awareness. Christine exits slowly, her heels striking marble tile, each step echoing like a chapter ending. Janelle trails behind silently. Outside, the sky grows gray. The crowd stands by, but there is no speech. Kody mutters to himself inside, they won't win. They can't. But he is aware, deep down, that this battle is no longer about winning. It's about staying alive. And the truth is one adversary he cannot talk his way past. The more you erect your walls, the louder the truth barks once it breaks through. The day brings a gray sky and an uncomfortable stillness. The click of cameras as Kody emerges from his black SUV, his jaw clenched, his hand pushing back his hair like a shield. The courthouse doors yawn big, the ones that cause even strong men to feel insignificant. The benches inside fill up early. Reporters, groupies, and some familiar faces from Flagstaff who stopped by just to see if all the rumors were true. Christine arrives minutes after in subdued confidence attire, pale blue suit, no makeup sparkle, only reality on her face. Janelle and Meri come behind her, side by side, for the first time in years. What they hold in silence speaks louder than words. This time, they are not split. Kody glances up as they pass, his face tightening. He can feel control slipping, that invisible thread he always used to keep everyone orbiting around him. The judge clears his throat. Court is now in session. We'll begin with witness statements from Miss Meri Brown. A murmur spreads again. Meri, the one who stayed silent through everything? She moves forward, her steps thoughtful, her tone calm. For years, she starts quietly. I stood up for Kody. Even when the other wives departed, I remained because I felt that's what being loyal was about. But loyalty isn't about silence, it's about truth. The room becomes silent. She opens a tiny notebook, her fingers shaking slightly. Cillian, I was instructed to keep matters confidential, to keep the family image intact. But the reality is, I saw transfers as well. I saw accounts I was instructed not to inquire about. And when I did, he said, you Meri, don't jeopardize this for us. Dinkaki's head jerks up. Meri, stop. The judge interrupts. Mr. Brown, one more interruption and I'll hold you in contempt. When those who used to fear you begin to speak the truth, that is when power truly changes hands. Meri closes the notebook. I don't want revenge. I just want honesty. Because this isn't about the money, your honor. It's about the years we lost, believing in something that wasn't real. Christine looks down, tears gathering but not falling. Robyn wipes her own eyes quietly, as if realizing she's sitting next to a man she never fully knew. The lawyer steps forward again. Your honor, we'd like to present Exhibit B, a timeline of asset transfers linked directly to Mr. Brown's personal account. These transactions were hidden under business fronts, names like UCB Holdings and Flagstaff Development Group. The clerk hands over the pages to the judge, the rustle of paper sliding rings out like a confession. The judge scowls. Mr. Brown, this indicates transfers of Sibai Badi Sharar, Lingover, sure some months, none of which show up in your family's combined statement. Kody stiffens his back. It was business management. My income was generated through various sources. TV, appearance and brand partnerships. It's not stealing, it's structure. Christine's attorney nods. Deceitful structure. We also have emails from TLC production legal groups. Emails indicating production bonuses were paid out one-on-one, not as a group as they agreed in the past. The crowd murmurs now more loudly. That show that had shown such togetherness had cracks deeper than the public ever realized. Robyn speaks softly to Kody, her voice trembling. You said all of that was shared. He whispers back, eyes darting. It was, just not in the way they think. Her eyes fill with tears, but she doesn't respond. The moment someone stops believing your version of the truth, that's when your world begins to collapse. The judge leans forward, tone grave. Mr. Brown, these records paint a picture of deliberate concealment. You'll have an opportunity to clarify, but tread carefully. Kody sighs, his voice deeper. Your honor, if you strip me of my reputation, you strip me of my livelihood. Everything I did in order to protect what I had built. The family was disintegrating, and I was trying to keep it together. Kristen's rebuttal slices across the room like glass. You weren't keeping it together, Kody. You were keeping it hostage. Zalian, the courtroom is silent. Even the reporters pause typing. The judge looks between them, softening his tone. Miss Brown, I get where you're coming from, but let's keep things in order. Christine nods. Yes, your honor. Sorry. I hunt obsess and Hugh for first. I've carried this too long. I've carried this too long. Her voice quivers a bit. We all thought we did believe in him. We thought in the concept of Yus's one huge family that could beat the odds. But once the cameras went off, so did the reality. Kody's eyes dart. Guilt, pride, fear, all fighting for room. Robyn reaches into her bag and retrieves her phone. She scrolls to an email, her face colorless. Then she addresses the judge. Your honor, I have something to say. The courtroom erupts in murmurs. The judge raises an eyebrow. Miss Robyn Brown, she stands, her voice trembling. This is a letter I got 6 months ago from our financial planner. It's regarding a deed to this property. I didn't even know we had, signed in my name, but transferred by Kody. Christine's eyes grow wide. Janelle moans quietly. The judge waves her forward. Bring it out. Robyn strides, her heels tapping softly on the floor. She sets the printed email on the table and takes a step back. The judge silently reads for what feels like an eternity, then raises his head. Mr. Brown, this Utah property, does it actually exist? Kody in silence speaks for him. Truth doesn't yell. It whispers, until silence rings out as the loudest noise in the room. The judge finally speaks. Will continue tomorrow for verification and disclosure of assets. Court is adjourned. As the gavel comes down, Kody slumps back in his chair, his face a tornado of panic and pride. Christine breathes out, eyes shut for the first genuine gasp of air she's had in years. Robyn looks away, mascara smudged, whispering, "What else haven't you told me?" Kody doesn't respond. He can't. Because the truth, the one hidden beneath a decade of fame, religion, and family, belongs to no one anymore. And when the man who constructed the family dynasty is finally confronted with his own image, even he can't discern whether it's guilt, fear, or justice that's gazing back. The courtroom is different today. The air is no longer thick with expectation. It's thick with the heaviness of truth, the kind of truth that won't scream but seeps into every nook until no one can deny. It's there. Kody comes in, his complexion white, his suit creased a little, a man who has been up to long attempting to retell a tale that has already been written. The photographers out front spotted him earlier, clicking at a reporter who was asking, "Do you regret anything?" His response, "You'll see the truth soon enough," now rings hollow. Christine sits already at her table, serene but tense. Beside her, Janelle flips through a notebook, underlined notes, marking years of forgotten details. Meri and Robyn sit apart, two women who once shared more than love. They shared belief. Now, belief feels like a broken currency. No one's willing to spend. The judge clears his throat. "Mr. Brown, we'll begin with your testimony today." Kody stands, straightening his tie. "Thank you, Your Honor." He looks over at the audience, but his eyes find Christine. "I know what people believe. They believe I'm the bad guy. They believe that I orchestrated this, to beat the system, to play my family against itself. But that's not what happened." He glances down for an instant, his hand shaking as he tightens his hold on the podium. "Everything I did, every choice, was to safeguard what we had. The fame, the house, the existence we created. It was not mine. It belonged to both of us. But somewhere during the process, love became blame." Christine's attorney does not shift, merely observes him intently. Kody goes on, his voice rising. "You refer to it as hiding assets. I refer to it as survival. The show was about to end. The funding was slowing down. I needed to plan ahead. For Robyn, for the children, for the name Brown, that I did not want to see smeared in the mud." The judge interrupts, "And did survival involve you forging signatures?" The courtroom gasps. Kody's face hardens. "I didn't forge anything. I signed what I had to maintain control." Christine hunches forward, her words a low but crisp growl. "Control. That's the word you use over and over, Kody. You never wanted a family. You wanted possession." Her voice is cutting but firm, the kind of painful truth that is hard because it has been gained through years of suffering. When love becomes control and control becomes survival, nobody wins, only scars. Kody's attorney jumps up quickly. "Objection, Your Honor." Speculative emotional commentary. The judge nods. "Sustained." "Mrs. Brown, please don't." Christine leans back, quiet, but her gaze never wavers from his. The prosecution continues. "Mr. Brown, you've used the term survival. Can you explain the Tiddyster War, Ling payment, termed Penzashal, consulting fees to a private account opened in the name of your cousin?" Kody exhales, jaw clenching. "That was payment for services. He assisted me with property relocation?" The lawyer interrupts. "Only, however, our records indicate that your cousin hasn't resided in Arizona for 5 years. The courtroom shimmers again. Robyn's head drops into her hands. Meri closes her eyes. Kody stutters. "It's not what it seems," Christine whispers, more to herself than anything else. "It never is. Each lie you speak ends up being a language that you can no longer stop talking." The judge arches his eyebrow, Mr. Brown, the evidence still remains inconsistent. You're playing with perjury. For the first time, Kody appears diminutive, not only guilty, but lost. His words stumble, his own bravado jettisoned for exhaustion. Your Honor, I never meant to hurt them. I believed. If I could just handle it all myself, perhaps we'd still be a family. Perhaps they'd still love me. Christine's eyes sparkle. You can't purchase love, Kody. You can't stash it in accounts or dig it into real estate. It either remains or it departs. Janelle nods gently, and it departed quite some time ago. The judge looks over the papers once more. We'll have a short recess before the final arguments. This court must have time to consider the new exhibits. The gavel comes down, and the tension shatters like glass. Kody leans back on his knees, head bowed. The man who used to be the center of his life now appears like night, someone who stands outside, observing everything he has constructed fall apart, one by one. Christine quietly gathers her things, but she does not go immediately. She glances at him, not with contempt, but something deeper, pity. Kody, she whispers gently, you always told me that God brought us together to create something that was going to be eternal. Perhaps he did. Perhaps eternal isn't together. He does not answer. His lips open a fraction, but words are unavailable. For the first time ever, Kody Brown, the man with a word for every occasion, is completely silent. Silence is sometimes the noise of someone finally being heard. Robyn rises slowly, wiping at her eyes. I trusted you, she whispers, her voice trembling. I left everything behind because you told me the truth was with you. Tabang Supai. He gazes up at her, his eyes pleading. It was, Robyn. It still is. But she shakes her head. No, Kody, the truth is not on your side. It never chose a side. The courtroom starts to clear as journalists pour out into the hallway to file their stories. The whispers trail behind him. Betrayal, fraud, forgery. Each term is like a blow to his heart. Kody sits for a long time after everyone else has left. The walls that used to ring with his self-assurance now ring only with emptiness. And outside in the afternoon sun, Christine takes her first free breaths, not of fear, but of freedom. The clouds have parted a bit, pale blue filtering through. She glances over at the courthouse once, then ahead, whispering to herself, it's finally over. But endings never are. They resound for years, in recollections, in errors, and in each silence that remains. Hannes, the last day breaks cold and bright. The courthouse steps are once more lined with cameras, their lenses starved for closure. The world has waited, not only for the verdict, but for the unraveling of a man who had appeared to be above the law. Within, the unease crackles like electricity. Christine remains immobile, clasping her hands, calm in her eyes. Janelle mutters something softly to her, something about breathing, about readiness. Meri sits several seats away, gazing at the vacant witness stand as if it contains the specter of every unuttered truth. Kody enters last. His posture has changed, no longer defensive, just tired. The kind of tired that seeps into your soul when the fight has gone on too long. Robyn trails behind him, her hand hovering near his back, but never touching. There's a distance between them, now that no apology can close. The judge takes his seat. The rustle of papers fills the room like soft thunder. Court will now come to order, the bailiff says. Harry, the judge glances up, face impassive. After careful consideration of all evidence, testimonies, and financial records submitted, this court finds Mr. Kody Brown guilty of several counts of non-disclosure of finances and false representation of community assets. Gasp waves through the courtroom. Kody's face tenses. No outburst, no protest, only silence. Christine breathes deeply, eyes brimming but unyielding. The judge goes on. Restitution of T-Bai's sister R. Ling is to be paid, divided among the plaintiffs at their determination by the state. Additional penalties will be decided in a hearing apart. The gavel comes down. Once, twice, final. And suddenly it's done. Years of mired promises, practiced smiles, and televised cohesion fold into one word, guilty. Kody lets his head creep forward, staring at the table. His lawyer speaks softly, but he doesn't react. The room gets to its feet, standing, whispering, leaving, but he remains still. Christine stands too, slowly, glancing once at him. Her face is not victorious. It's sad, terribly, achingly sad. "Hi, Kody," she whispers. "You used to tell me that truth would set us free. I guess it just did." Yeah. He gazes up at her, his eyes reddened, his voice raw. "You think this makes you right?" She shakes her head. "No, it just makes us honest. Sometimes justice doesn't come to annihilate, it comes to remind you that freedom and peace aren't the same thing." Janelle catches up with Christine by the door. They exit together, side by side. Meri stands for a moment, observing Kody, not in anger, but verging on forgiveness. "You were never supposed to lose everything," she says softly. "You were just supposed to learn." King. Then she turns away. Kody sits alone at the defense table, his tie open, his reflection staring back from the bright wood. In that reflection, he does not see the husband, the father, the television icon. He sees a man who constructed his universe on secrets and lost sight of the fact that truth never required his permission to be told. Outside, the reporters gather. Christine stands them down briefly, her voice soothing. "This was never revenge. It was closure and healing. We all deserve that, even him." The burst of camera flashes illuminates her face, but she doesn't recoil. There is serenity in her eyes now, a serenity born only of having lived through chaos. Across the courtyard, Kody exits through a side door, head down, his gait slow. Robyn stands beside the car, but when they lock eyes, there is nothing left but quiet resignation. She enters, slams the door behind her, and glares ahead. He hesitates, looking back at the courthouse one more time. Ultimately, truth does not knock. It marches in, takes a seat, and waits for you to stop lying about being able to exist without it. As the car drives away, the courthouse recedes behind him. The strobing cameras, the ring of the gavel, the hushed names, all bleed into the murmur of a conclusion he never foresaw. Christine stands a few steps back with Janelle, Meri, and lawyers. The wind blows, sending a scattering of scattered leaves over the courthouse steps. She's leaning her head back into the sun, eyes shut tight, drawing the air deep into her lungs. Having endured years of another's idea of family, she can finally hear what freedom sounds like. Still, quiet, and true. "Hi," she addresses the camera crew, trailing behind her. "If anyone's listening," she whispers, "just keep in mind, peace doesn't mean you forget what hurt you. It means you stop letting it own you. For even in the shambles of love, there's always space for rebirth." The screen dissolves gradually, the final glimpse remaining. Kody's car vanishing down the highway, Christine headed for the illumination of a new dawn. So tell me, do you think justice heals, or just reminds us of what we have lost? Comment your thoughts below.